Robbie Harvey followers, let me ask you this. You remember last year when I told you couldn't trust the guy?
More horrifying and problematic messages between Robbie Harvey and another woman who is a victim.
Do you remember me telling you he was exploiting your stories for his financial gain?
$3,000 in one day. In case this hasn't hit you yet, Robbie Harvey is bragging to another beautiful woman in his messages about the money he's making off of your victim stories. Now in the month of June, I've already made $20,000 fucking dollars. So look how much he's making from the Kasnoff case, guys.
Do you remember me telling you he was a complete fake and you shouldn't trust him?
This is TMI, but my wife just had a good O. I'll never understand how that feels for her. No man will, but whatever. Just to be clear, Robbie is privately messaging another woman about his wife's orgasms, and he wants this woman to know how good he makes his wife feel. I enjoy BJs, and I don't get them by going off late at night to do what I want. So he's using a story of where a guy did something that he would never do, because again, he wants to make himself look like the nice guy, but then he says, the reason I don't do those things is because I want to get BJs. And not only that, he's talking about BJs with another woman. And when she sent me these screenshots, she told me she would, she has been feeling so fucked up over this. Check this one out, guys, because this shows Robbie's real motive, okay? Where do you live? She responds, he says, I'm going to be in New York in a few weeks, and I was going to make you meet up if you were close. Hold up, pause. Now we're on the let's meet up level. You think this is Robbie's first time doing this? Fuck no. This is what he does. This is all narcissists cheat. This is what narcissists do. This is what they do. Gain their trust, cross the boundaries, exploit them, try to get them to meet up with you.
Do you remember last year when I said he changed the details of my story specifically to trigger you? I said all that, and over 5,000 of you attacked me for months because of his lie. You threatened to take my kids. You threatened to call CPS, report me as an abuser. And I kept telling you he was a liar. Mind you, all this happened the week my dad died. And he didn't care, nor did you. I've never taken pleasure as an adult man in saying these words, but I am right now. When I say I told you so, I fucking told you so. Reason, you know what? And I've never been one to gloat. I'm not a gloating channel. I don't like talking about rumors or chisme about anybody. But the fact that this guy, Robbie Harvey, I've spoken about him a few times, and I just did a live the other day because somebody asked about it because he had gotten some feedback from his followers and how he turns out he's narcissistic. But this was before the actual evidence had dropped that he was actually cheating on his wife with some other person or attempting to cheat. But to know that you were right about somebody and you saw the true colors, and now it's surfacing and he is exposed for what he is and he's more or less canceled, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty damn good today. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about everything. I'm going to talk about who he is because I understand there's a lot of you. Obviously, he's not that big of a deal, but a lot of people don't know who he is. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about my encounter with him and what exactly he did to me and how he made my life a living hell for about 6 months to a year. It was really horrible last year what he did to me. I'm also going to talk about the original victim. Her name's Casey. She's now gone public with her story. She reached out to me last year. She told me all the details of what he did and how he was grooming her into like a threesome with his wife by sending nude photos of his wife over to her. I couldn't say that. And she told that yesterday. So I'm glad she's finally telling her story. But I'm going to talk about her story. Then I'm going to talk about what exactly went down yesterday with another creator. I had no idea who she is, but there's a 5-video uploaded yesterday showing screenshots, and I gave you guys highlights on what he was talking about with this other female. But real quick, let's talk about who this guy is, Mr. Harvey. First and foremost, he's a, how do I say this? He's a male feminist, I guess. A male feminist, I guess is the word I want to use. And just to kind of give you an idea, all of his videos are about, again, targeting his specific audience, which is women who have been through abusive relationships, women who have been more or less hurt by men. It's a good cause, but what he's doing is he's more or less exploiting it, like these women had a feeling about. So all of his videos are here. He gets millions of views daily. He gets at least 1 million. We're talking 906,000, etc. So his audience is vast, and he's recently made national news by covering a Kasnoff case. I don't know anything about it, but apparently some videos were leaked and he's kind of profiting off of that. In one of the videos I'm going to share later, he more or less tells us he's boasting to this TikTok model that, hey, I made 20 grand in the month of June because of the Kasanoff case. Again, he's highlighting stories. He's making men the villain. And there's a few other accounts just like that, but that's more or less the gist of his story. And that's more or less what he talks about. Look at him.
And it's hard for her to heal from it because she's scared if she brings it up, it'll be insignificant to you again.
Again,
you'll dismiss it or you'll make fun of it.
YouTube. I can't share the audio on TikTok.
And it won't be important to you like it is to her.
Yeah, he's got organs.
The little things you say during moments of passion, during moments of argument.
Tell me that isn't cringe, people. But this is his videos. This is all he does. And he gets millions of views.
You don't have to say something big or dramatic to hurt someone. It can be the littlest of things that destroys the woman in your life. Dude. So she's struggling. She wants you to know that. You need to take her seriously about it.
Let's see. I never realized people would take a cause and be fake about it. Really great. Thank you, Kelly. And you know what? There are a lot of accounts like him. There's also this Kaylee Callista, who I'll talk about in a bit. But there's a lot of, as a content creator, and if you do, I see the advocate in the chat and also see my friend Matt. When you create content, you have to discover a niche. And there's a lot of people out there who aren't really vested in the actual cause. They just found a niche. And when they find a niche like this, there's a lot of people who you have to question yourself, like, how far do you want to go with this? He sold his soul. I think he's always been a piece of shit. And he just more or less took a demographic. We're talking women who've been through hell, right? We're talking about women who've been through hell, been through horrible marriages, abusive relationships or worse. And he's playing to their sympathies, is what he's always done. And when he says, give me your story so I can share it, what he's really doing, he says, give me content. Is what he's doing. He says, give me your pain and your story so I can share it for my gain. Now, if this guy was donating all of his money to women's charities, then I say, oh, that's pretty reputable. Okay, he's actually, he's helping women. He's giving money back. No, he's profiting off of you. And he always has, just like Fresh and Fit. These guys are targeting damaged, heartbroken incels who are angry. And they're showcasing these incels, women that they hate or complain about, or who like brought the Western culture to a demise. So they're showcasing people who trigger them. It's a gimmick. It's a hustle, and it makes me sick. And I will never do that. I would never do that. And that's why I associate with creators who would never get in that space. But that's exactly what he was doing and has been doing. And again, as of right now, before his collapse, he had over 3 million followers. Okay. And that is Robbie Harvey. Again, a male feminist. You saw the video, take it for what it is, but it makes me sick and cringe. It's horrible. Now for my encounter with Robbie and what he did to me. This happened last year. I had never heard about him ever. And my dad passed away. For those who don't know, my dad was battling dementia for like 5 years. And he finally passed. This is the second week of June of last year. And I made a video saying like, hey, my dad passed. I'm going to be off TikTok for a while. So I go. And when I come back a week later, I see thousands. I stopped counting, thousands of just video stitches, comments, all these inboxes all over my social media platforms are like how I'm a horrible son of a bitch and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, what's going on? So I'm going to play my videos. Okay. Just so everybody has full context. Again, I'm going to play these videos from beginning to end. I'm going to play my video on what I was saying and what Robbie did and how he changed it. Okay. So let me just do that real quick, because I want everybody to have full context.
One of the main reasons why my marriage failed, there's a ton of them, but one of the main reasons was when the kids arrived, we were so in love and so happy to be parents that we forgot to focus on still being a husband and wife. All our energy, all our efforts went toward the kids. And that's, you can understand that, because when kids arrive, it's a whole different life-changing experience, and they're your world. But again, as the years went on, we completely forgot about the wife part and the husband part. And before you know it, I was looking at my wife and just saw a mom. I didn't see my wife anymore, if that makes any sense. And plus, kids take up so much of your energy, especially when they get older. There's games and then there's practices. So Monday through Friday, you're exhausted. Weekends, there's games in tournaments. You're exhausted. So when we got home, we were just so exhausted and we made no efforts or extra push for ourselves or date night because we just wanted to rest and sleep.
So that was my first video that I posted. And for those who don't know me or what my content is, my platform more or less is my mistakes. I've called myself out plenty of times. I was married 16 years and I guess I got notoriety when I made that video. Me explaining that I cheated on my ex-wife back in 2008. Now in the video, in all my videos, I provide perspective. So I want people to understand what your spouse may be thinking or going through. I've taken full accountability on all my videos. I have never blamed anybody but my own. My ex-wife has forgiven me. We have a great co-parenting relationship. And again, this happened in 2008 when I was like 32. So I'll share that video so people can understand that, hey, there's many reasons why a marriage failed, but the important thing is to never forget about your spouse. When kids come in, it's an unconditional love. And you can get lost in it like we did. We forgot to be husband and wife. And that wasn't just when they were newborns. This is like 5 years of just being mom and dad and forgetting to be husband and wife. And again, there's also financial things that came into the reason why my marriage failed. And I shared that video. And it's very triggering. I get that, but it's the truth. I don't want people to make the same mistake I did. So that's what had happened. That's the video I shared. And that's when my following of women started just growing. A lot of women said, I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate you being vulnerable, all that stuff. And I'm like, thank you. I really do appreciate your feedback. And that's how things started going. Then there's this video that I stitched. I took it down because so many people took it out of context. And I want to show you the full video that I took down, but then I'm going to show you what Robbie played and where he cut off the video. Okay, so let me just share that real quick. This man cheated on his wife. He says, you weren't giving me attention. The baby came in and you're solely focusing on the baby. And that's why I cheated. And again, I'm going to play the full video.
Okay, you realize that I was taking care of our son, right?
I am not justifying this guy's actions, but you know what? I can understand because that's exactly what happened in my case back in 2008. I have to admit, it just brought back a bunch of feelings because I know the internet's going to be hating on this guy, calling him names and supporting the wife. I can totally understand that too. But again, horrible action. He's going to pay karma and with friends lost, and he's just like I did live in his own house anymore. But imagine being a husband and you love your wife and you crave attention. Maybe you made efforts to make things work again, rekindle things, and she's just not there. You know how heartbreaking it is for a husband to look at his wife and not see a wife and just see a mother? Put yourself in his shoes for just a second. You know how lonely that is to be in a home and see a family you don't feel like you're part of it? It's a heartbreaking, lonely place. That's all I'm going to say.
In other words, again, make time for your spouse. Like one of the mistakes, like I said, I made in my marriage is that we just didn't make time for each other. And when somebody is craving, attention, it could be the husband or wife. It's heartbreaking when you don't have that connection anymore. So avoid it is what I was saying. That video, the first video I posted was, again, I think December of 2020. And again, I just sent a video. I'm not justifying it, but I can understand how he felt because I was there. Make sure, again, never forget to show love to your spouse. And again, now that I'm in my second, I'm engaged again, it's my spouse comes first, then my kids. I'm not going to make those same mistakes. That's what marriage counseling taught me. And I'll never repeat those mistakes. So that's the video that I had to take down. And this was like a year, maybe December 2020 when this went up. And of course, people were upset about it. But again, that's the message, just always make time for your spouse. Then Robbie does this video. Let me share this video real quick, what he did. And notice where he cuts off.
That's why I did it.
Okay, you realize that I was taking care of our son, right?
I am not justifying this guy's actions, but you know what? I can understand because that's exactly what happened in my case.
Again, he doesn't know any of my videos in the past or my messages.
I have to admit, it just brought back a bunch of feelings because I know the internet's going to be hating on this guy, calling him names and supporting the wife. I can totally understand that too. But again, horrible action. He's going to pay karma and with friends lost, and he can't even live in his own house anymore. But imagine being a husband and you love your wife and you crave attention. Maybe you made efforts to make things work again, rekindle things, and she's just not there. You know how heartbreaking it is for a husband to look at his wife and not see a wife and just see a mother?
Did you hear the last thing he said?
Did you notice where he cut it off? Did you notice where he said, he totally cut off the part where I said, make time to love your spouse, make time to show them love. He cut that off purposely. Listen to what he said.
To not see a wife and to see a mother.
No context. He's telling 2 million women that. Okay?
That should tell you something. She's exhausted from being a stay-at-home mom.
Stop right there. And I'm getting triggered because my ex-wife was not a stay-at-home mom. We both worked full-time. And for those who know me, I'm an involved father. The greatest role I've ever had in my life is being a father. I've been involved since day one.
She needs help. She needs you to step up. It's
oh God.
No longer just you and her. It's you, her, and someone else.
And I just want to note that this video he made, did you hear what he said? I need to step up and keep listening.
And she needs your help.
She needs your help.
You know, I'm not getting the attention I need in my marriage also. You want to know why? My wife has cancer.
And this son of a bitch posted this video June 22nd of last year. And the video that exposes him flirting with a fucking model is 3 weeks after this video. You piece of shit. Oh God, I love it. But anyway, listen to this fucker.
And we have 3 children.
Oh, Robbie, do you?
And right now, those have taken priority than her and I. Do I crave attention? Do I want it from her? Yes.
And we have screenshots.
And she knows that. But in this situation, it's going to take time. It's going to take patience. And it's going to take
Robbie?
Constant communication.
Yeah.
Sometimes in marriage, you have to step aside.
Really?
And step up.
And flirt with other TikTok models. Is that what your advice is? So he made that video and everything went to hell. So again, mind you, this is the week my dad died. So I don't know if any of this is going on. So I log in a week later and I made a playlist and I'm going to share with everybody real quick because I was just so out of it. But I saw the damage that had been happening. And this was my response here initially. So I'm going to play that video response real quick. 1 second.
How hard that can be on everybody. So my thoughts are with your family. I've never seen your account before, but I saw your bio. It said that you're a former bad husband. Well, my account's the exact same thing.
You have to go to YouTube.
I was a bad husband, and I've taken full accountability of every wrong decision I've ever made, every mistake I've made. And I'm sharing these stories in the hopes that it can help other marriages. Because you and I both know, anybody who's been married for a long time knows marriage is not a cakewalk. And I'm sharing those moments, those bad moments that people don't think about until it happens. And this particular video that you stitched, I was sharing what my mindset was back then. Is it wrong to think that way? Of course, but it does happen. And I'm just bringing awareness to that fact. And for the record, I agree with every single word you said in that video. You're absolutely right. And I've made countless videos saying the same thing.
I look like shit because my dad just died. And this is like the day after the funeral. And I thought he was talking about the cheating. That's why I said, yes, I do own up to that mistake. I thought he had everything in context. I didn't know that he just kind of took that snippet of me saying that you only see her as a mother. I didn't know that part. I thought he was just talking about the cheating, right? And I'm like, yeah, I did. I owned up to it, but I didn't know the full context of the story yet. Because again, I was just kind of getting back into the swing of things. But I was very respectful, and that was it. So the next video I posted was this. Not too long ago, a creator by the name of the Robbie Harvey stitched one of my older videos from 2020. It was a video where I was explaining my mindset and where I was at back in 2008 when I cheated on my ex-wife. Now, if you're new to my account, please understand that I've shared this story many a times. I've been very vocal about my mistakes in my marriage, and I'm sharing these stories so people can learn from my mistakes. All the comments about me being lazy, not a good enough husband are 100% right. Really, the purpose of these videos is to share my dating experience after my divorce, really, from 2016, and to share my mistakes that I made while I was married. I hope people learn from my mistakes and become better husbands. I've owned up to every single one of them, and I've taken full accountability. That ownership of accountability has gained the respect of thousands of women who are 72% of my following.
The very first video I saw from your page was the video on why you cheated. And I instantly felt my blood boil and was going to be really rude until I actually took the time to go through your page. And coming from someone that is currently going through this situation, I want to say thank you. I appreciate your ability.
Again, go to
take
YouTube if you want to see the videos I'm sharing to everybody.
thoughts. I appreciate your ability to be raw and honest and open. And I appreciate your ability in accepting your own mistakes and not just blaming the other party.
So when I saw his stitch, I reached out to him with a video. I was very respectful. The guy has over 1 million followers. During this time, I kept getting flooded with just hate comments and attacks on my page. And again, I don't blame his followers. He's the one who spoke the words and they're listening to him. So I reached out to him and said, hey, let's talk this out. You only got a piece of the story and I'm being misrepresented. So let's talk this out. And he chose to go with insults. He said the video, oh, you're speaking about the video where you're pouting? So I knew I couldn't speak with him. And I'll own up to this. I did post some angry comments back at him, but that's outside my character. So I took him down. And anybody watching this TikTok, if you're watching this, I hope you are. I'm not mad at his followers. They're listening to him. He's gained a following. He's a great storyteller. And you know what? In a sense, I respect that. But he needs to be held accountable for the recklessness of labeling somebody inappropriately. Influencers with his following need to understand that his words have power and they can influence people to go one way or the other. And whether he doesn't condone it, his followers will attack the person he calls out. And his refusal to talk to me about this, I'm assuming only because it's one of his best performing videos and he's enjoying the clout. This is bullying. This is exactly what it is. He knows his status. He knows his platform. He knows he can get away with these things. And it's not right. So TikTok, all I'm asking is this. Make sure you hold your creators with that type of following at a higher standard. And just hold them accountable for reckless behavior. Make them understand that their words can have some damaging consequences to some influencers out there. Luckily, I can take it, but there's some that couldn't. And that needs to be discussed. Please hold them accountable. Do better.
And this next one is the very last video I had spoken about him. This is like, I guess, July of last year. And I'm more angry in this video because I felt I was being civil and I was hoping this whole thing would just end. His video was shared over 100,000 times and Kaylee's video was shared over 1 million times. So I had other female creators, all these feminist groups making videos, making things up. The rumor got so bad. The last I heard is that this guy cheated on his wife while she was pregnant and had cancer. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? That's not anywhere near the realm of reality, but that's what they were arriving at. And people were seeing that my dad had died and many of his followers were celebrating my father's death. And this is like 2 weeks after my dad is in the ground. So my dad was my hero. And I just want to add this real quick because I've been, I guess, attacked by other creators and it's never bothered me. The reason this bothers me so much and I'm so triggered by it is because, again, as I said earlier, my dad had dementia. He had it for 5 years. And my dad, when he was in his younger days and still up until he couldn't walk anymore, he was a holy man and he would pray for people. Families from all over San Antonio would mail him letters or they would call him. He would go pray for them and he'd help people. And one of the last conversations my dad had with me was that he was proud of me because I was helping people like he was. And then his mind went. So that's one of the last conversations I had with my dad. And for this motherfucker to almost ruin my brand and destroy me and have his followers celebrate his death, it triggers me. But yeah, it brought in months of hell. Months of hell for me and my family. I had women saying that we're going to call CPS, these angry feminists. We're going to call CPS and get your kids taken away from you, you misogynistic so-and-so. Like, I don't hate women. What are you talking about? That's all I was getting. Your father deserved to die. All these things. So this is where I'm angry. And this is my last video.
Oh, I'm not this type of creator. I don't attack other creators or start drama. It's a waste of time, in my opinion. But when a large creator
he wasn't a
like
pastor.
the Robbie Harvey
he was just a
purposely changes the circumstances of my story, more or less exploiting it, painting me in this certain narrative for his benefit and for his demographic, that's where I have a problem.
She's exhausted from being a stay-at-home mom. She needs help. She needs you to step up.
I will own all day that I was a bad husband. But the fact that you say I didn't step up as a father or a parent, that's where I get insulted. And again, keep in mind, I reached out to him and I was very respectful with every one of my responses until he insulted me. And these are the comments that followed.
Y'all can, let's see here.
More or less at that point, I knew I was wasting my time. He wasn't going to listen to me. He got what he wanted. He got the engagement, he got the views, and he's moving on. On the other hand, was still getting bombarded by thousands and thousands of hate comments from his followers. So I made this response video. And in this response video, somebody who had a bad experience with him a personal experience with him last October, spoke out.
Okay, and I want to stop there. Casey, right here. Casey reached out to me, and Casey went public yesterday with her story. I'm just going to go ahead and read what she has here. This is again last July of 2020. She says, Rudy, I've had a very terrible personal experience with Robbie Harvey through DMs. I haven't blocked, but he's not good news. That's all I'll say. I go, this is my first experience with him. Needless to say, it was very disappointing. I'm sorry you went through that. She says, he scares me. I'm healing from an abusive marriage, and he used that at his advantage. He asked explicit questions and told me I should cheat on my husband. I'll likely delete my comment, but I don't want the wrath of his followers, is what she says.
Last October, spoke out. This didn't make him happy, and this is what he said. Be aware, I've saved this video. This is the definition
this is where
of
he
slander.
Go ahead.
And will be happy to move forward if needed. I replied, you brought this upon yourself. According to her, she's been terrified of your wrath for months to come forward. The truth always comes out, and I cannot wait till she tells her story. It goes on to say, I shared a video that you created. You created it. And your response is to share, in quotation marks, a stranger's story about me. Keep in mind, he said,
he called her a stranger. So he's lying. It wasn't a stranger, and we have proof of the conversation he sent her. He saw this video and then sent her an IM through IG, and she made that public yesterday. I'm going to share that in a bit. But notice he's already caught lying here.
As strangers. He says, I welcome it. Absolutely welcome it. But understand, I will do whatever is needed legally. I gave an opinion of your video. No, you did, and you changed the narrative. And he says, you're threatening beyond opinions. I then replied, said, I've made 0 threats. I'm only standing up for a woman's story. Isn't that what you claim to do? And that's when he blocked me. And in hindsight, now that I think about it, with all the hate that's been slung at my account and all the damage he's done to my brand, keep in mind that video had 1.6 million views. All of that was worth it if it gave this woman the opportunity to share her story.
And that's the last I spoke of it, right? It's now Casey, again, she was still terrified last year about sharing her story with Robbie. And that's her story. I wasn't going to talk about it anymore. But when you do share it, let me know, and I'll support you. I'll share it. I'll stitch it. I'll do whatever you want. Because what she told me was that, well, I'll have her tell it. I'm not going to tell it. I'll have her tell it. Let me just get up her video real quick. Hold on 1 second. So this is her. She shared this yesterday. Again, he saw my video and the screenshots I shared with Casey, and this is him freaking out, creating an account on IG and sending her this message. And I'm going to read it, okay? And listen to the gaslighting on this son of a bitch, man. He's sick in the head. He go, it's Robbie. When someone sent me what you said, ... He even has the dramatic pauses in his fucking text. I was stunned. I honestly considered you my friend. I thought she was a stranger. You lying fuck. I'm sorry. I gotta. I'm just happy. Okay. And I'm glad he's getting his. I share private things about my marriage with you and was happy to help in any way I could. And then, dramatic pause, I worried he's using his wife for views. I have to say, I don't even know how to respond to that. Before my wife got cancer, I had over 600 million views. I don't need my wife to suffer to be successful. I don't need my kids watching their mom lose their hair so I can get views. The truth is, my wife saw me. This cracks me up. The truth is, my wife saw me getting depressed, and she said, be creative during this process. Your wife is battling cancer, and she's telling you to go be creative. Sure, whatever. Tell my story so others can have hope. At the same time, I will help you heal and deal. I'm worried about you, so dramatic pause. So do what you do. Yet I see your comments. Okay. You were truly my friend. I thought he said stranger. Truly, truly my friend. And I'm sorry you feel the way you do. By the way, this is a private account. Anything you say about me publicly, I won't send my followers after you. I just want you to know my feelings about your comments. I'm sorry you feel the way you do, and I wish you well. So that is him reaching out to her after the video that I had made. And again, just look at the gaslighting. And how he's trying to make her feel bad for not coming forward. And what she told me was, let me see if there's a video that she shared. I don't think she did, but what she told me was that, and you know what, her talking to me, it really gave me perspective, because I never understood how, I guess, the mindset of somebody in that situation was. But Casey had shared with me that she was in an abusive marriage for a long time. And any male figure in her life was really just harmful to her. So she shares her story on TikTok. And this guy, the opportunist that he is, he stitches a video and then he messages her. And he says, I love your story. By the way, I'm building a website and I would love for you to be part of it. He doesn't pay her. He just says, I would love for you to be part of it. Apparently, narcissists like to use people for free labor. I didn't know that. I don't know. I'm not an expert on narcissism. So she starts working with him. They're DMing privately about the website, sharing passwords and such. And then he brings up that he's a photographer. And he starts sharing with her inappropriate pictures, naked pictures of his wife. And he's also saying that your husband's mean that you should cheat on him. He's trying to promote her to cheat. And she's a woman of moral character. And she goes, it made her sick to hear that. Somebody that she looked up to begin. Because again, this is the first male figure that's ever been positive in her life that actually listened to her and to listen to tell her story. So she was devastated when he started going that route. And then he would bring up sex and he would say, do you think of me when you're sleeping with your husband? And she's right now trying to get those screenshots resurfaced. She went to IG to get some IT people to see if she can get those. But I believe her. I totally believe her. And that's when she's kind of severed ties with him, because, again, it was getting too inappropriate and she felt like another man is just taking advantage of me. So I felt bad for her, and she was also fearful of him. And that was her story. And she says, I'll share it when I want. I'm like, perfect. And she shared it yesterday. And that's him. And again, that's how she and I connected. And I'm proud of her for coming forward in telling her story. And let me go ahead and just share and then on top of that, Casey shared her video yesterday, and another TikTok creator apparently was speaking with another TikTok model. And apparently Robbie has been talking and flirting with this woman for almost a year. And she put out a five video series out. And I'm going to share that with everybody so you can see. Yes, karma is. And I feel great. I'm glad he was called out. Cody, yeah, you too. Cody's a good friend of mine. I said it over a year ago. What kind of skeletons does this guy have in his closet to act this way? Motherfucker had a cemetery in there. Yeah, he did. So I want to give full credit to this particular TikToker. That girl, Bomb Pop, is her name. And she more or less brought the goods. She brought the screenshots, and I'm going to play every single one of them in its entirety. Okay, so here's video one.
I've been sitting on this overnight because my internet wasn't working last night, which really pissed me off. But anyway, I was contacted by a woman last night who sent me a bunch of screenshots.
Messing around on his wife.
Against Robbie Harvey. This woman has been having
Go to YouTube if you want to see the videos.
Over the past year. He approached her first, just trying to be like a nice, trustworthy guy because she was following his TikToks. But what narcissists do is they lure you in by, being nice and appropriate, and then they start talking to you a lot because they know how to target vulnerable people. She has been a victim of narcissistic abuse before in her life, and narcissists are very good at sniffing that out. What they do is then gradually over time, they will start trying to cross your boundaries by including like sexual innuendo and things like that, just to see how you react. If you react well to it, then they know they got a live one and they know that you are someone that they can manipulate. It is very clear that he does that in his messages with her. She wants to remain anonymous. I don't want any hate or any judgment going against her because we all know how easy it is to be like exploited by a narcissist. But she did say that I can say a few things about her. She's a content creator on this app and many platforms. She is super beautiful. She's married. She's around.
She has since come forward. We know who she is now, and we'll get to that in a bit.
At my age, and just physically speaking, In my opinion, she would be like Robbie's type. So
yeah,
here
go to
come
YouTube.
Screenshots. I was going to include like every single thing.
Rude
but some of
advice
them
is a
just,
channel.
there isn't enough
Links
juice
in my
there, and I
bio.
really want to get these out there. So I'm just going to start showing you guys everything. I'm including this one just because it was the first time he ever contacted her, July 30th, 2022 at 2:12 p.m. He just basically says, girl, I don't ever look at my mentions, and I clicked right away when you shared, love your page. So basically coming.
This is, again, 3 weeks after he made the video calling me out. Okay. I just want to I want to make note that this is 3 weeks after his video that he made of me. What a piece of shit.
And with a compliment right away. That's how it started. You guys can pause to read on these ones. There's not much juice in them. He's just trying to get to know her. This is in the same like conversation. Again, just trying to get to know her. Then there wasn't a conversation for like a couple months, and he reaches out again in September and he says, hey friend, I don't know what's going on, but just want to say I'm praying for you. Hard times suck as I'm experiencing myself, but you've got this. So clearly she posted some kind of video where she was having a hard time, and that entices narcissists because they know that you are vulnerable. And so of course that is why he reached out. He also wants to remain relatable and gain her trust. So he talks about how he lost his job. Now we're going to move up a bit. So this is in February of this year. So it just shows they've been talking all that time in between. At this point, he has like sufficiently gained her trust and feels comfortable sending sexual innuendo. So he says, this is TMI, but my wife just had a good O. I'll never understand how that feels for her. No man will, but whatever. Just to be clear, Robbie is privately messaging another woman about his wife's orgasms, and he wants this woman to know how good he makes his wife feel.
Okay, real quick, for those who are on TikTok,
we're back with Robbie Harvey.
He mentions in this chat to this woman who's not his wife, he's saying, I gave my wife a big O last night. And more or less is, as this woman's breaking down in the video, is that, yeah, he is trying to show this person in so many words how good he is in bed. He's trying to kind of hype that part up. He's having an inappropriate conversation with another woman who's not his wife, who has cancer, by the way. What a son of a bitch.
Harvey's private messages between him and another woman. Let's continue on. This is May 23rd of this year, so not very long ago. He says, I'm thinking about going after Tizzy, LOL. He's created 3 videos about my wife's school over the past 6 months, all lies. Look him up on TikTok. If I went after him, he would probably go crazy and try to dig so much dirt on me. I hate confrontation. It gives me anxiety. I'll get in someone's face if I have to, but I don't like being that way. I want you guys to remember while looking at these screenshots that these are a conversation he's having with another very attractive woman, confiding in her, offering her private information, and everything he says, there's a purpose for why he's saying it. What I've noticed in a lot of conversations with her is, and narcissists do this, they try to do this whole thing of like, it's us against the world. So like, me and you are crazy. We do crazy things. Nobody else gets it. And they want to gain your trust by telling you things that maybe they wouldn't tell other people. Like, oh, I'm thinking about doing this thing.
Anytime.
It's also very revealing when he says,
me over,
try to
and I'm
dig up
glad he's getting
his.
He's a son of a bitch.
What are you hiding, Robbie?
And
You're
karma
obviously
is a bitch,
afraid
and
of someone finding dirt on you. And just another example of him wanting to go after other men to make himself look better. Now, this one, you guys, this is where it gets really bad because you're going to see
listen to this part.
What Robbie Harvey's
blows
true
my mind
intentions
here.
are on his page as he brags about how much money he's making. May 25th, he says, yep, I'm averaging about around 220 a day. Combined with Facebook, I made 1,700 on Tuesday. She doesn't respond. So a few days later,
Lady, 3,000 in one day. He's bragging about the money he's making with this other woman.
He reaches out again saying, lady, $3,000 in one day. Just in case this hasn't hit you yet, Robbie Harvey is bragging to another beautiful woman in his messages about the money he's making off of your victim stories. How does that make you feel?
In the red pill space, he's leading with his wallet because he's got nothing else to offer.
White, middle-aged, Christian conservative narcissist is bragging to another woman when he's married that he's making money off of you, all while pretending to be the nice, safe guy that you can trust.
I'm going to repeat that, ladies. If you have any doubt about his character, listen to this again.
Bragging to another woman when he's married that he's making money off of you, all while pretending to be the nice, safe guy that you can trust. He's not doing it for money. No.
You have to go to YouTube.
He goes on, I have to wait until tomorrow, but I had 3 videos go viral last night, and I think I made $1,000 yesterday on TikTok. He goes on, I hope I did about 3 to 4 million views. He's very, very, very concerned with the amount of views he gets, how many people are following him, how much money he's making. That's why he's doing this. stay tuned for part 3, because in the next one, actually, I'm going to upload these all at the same time. In the next one, we are going to see more sexual innuendo from him toward her, and it's all so appalling.
Oh, this is a good one. I didn't know this. Ashley, okay. My husband has known him for 12 years. Okay. And they used to be close friends. My husband has stepped back after realizing his fake TikTok fame went to his head. Of course it did. My husband says he has always been very boastful. Yeah, you can see that in his character. And you can actually see it in the messages. There's plenty more. There's plenty more. We haven't even got started yet, folks. Okay, there's plenty more. But yeah, he's always come off that way. Let's see. He brags to my husband how much money he makes and sends him screenshots. Really? Wow. Okay, everybody on TikTok who doesn't see this, I have a woman here who's saying that her husband was friends with him, or still is, and he boasts about how much money he makes to his friends as well. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Oh, yeah, pretty much. You know, I think Tiffany's his wife. I feel bad for her, but you know what? The more I hear about him and the more we see on these videos on him, that's 2 videos. There's like 4 more to go. I don't think he gives a shit about his wife. I truthfully don't. Maybe there's a piece of him who cares about his wife, but I think the fact that she got cancer, I think he saw that as a golden opportunity to exploit it, like he's exploiting every other woman out here, and kind of just gain sympathy. Oh, look at my wife. She's got cancer. And I know he milked it for what it's worth. It's sad to say, but I think he's using her as a prop. Because I don't care if my loved one got cancer and she's telling me be creative. No, she's my sole vision. She's my attention. I couldn't go create. No, I couldn't fucking do that shit. So again, oh my God. Anyway, let's continue here.
Part 3 of Robbie Harvey's secret messages with another woman who is essentially a victim. And I want you guys to remember that the reason Robbie Harvey is so dangerous is not only for the shit he posts, but for the way that he is making women think that he's a trustworthy guy. But we can clearly see that behind the scenes, he is going after these women and trying to form relationships with them. And these are women who have been abused in their past. This is incredibly dangerous and fucked up. So we're going to start seeing more sexual innuendo now. So
here comes the sexual innuendo.
They are talking about OF and some of the guys that subscribe on there. Robbie says, I mentally can't process being that low. Like, I just can't. Like, at a strip club, they at least touch you. It's hard for me to understand, I guess, because my wife is a hottie and amazing and does amazingly in bed. But I get that because I'm good to her. It requires work. So I don't get the laziness of, I'd rather pay a stranger to rate my pics instead of seeing my wife naked. One thing I really want you guys to understand is that even though Robbie Harvey references his wife in every conversation, this is still sexual innuendo with another woman. And the reason why he's referencing his wife is because he knows he's married and he knows that this woman knows he's married. So the only way that he can, get sexual innuendo across to her is by using his wife as a prop to do that. But his motive in saying these things is to cross boundaries with this woman.
Hold on real quick. Again, for those who are on TikTok, I have somebody here whose husband is friends with Harvey. She says, I'm not close to her, but I feel I should tell her, just praying honestly. That's a good question. I mean, I know there's a lot of women watching. Should she tell her? I think she knows by now at this point. I mean, it's about to go viral. Anybody starting to create videos or go live and share this. So I'm pretty sure she knows. But yeah, that's a valid point.
Woman to see how she will react. And because she's not getting pissed or saying, I don't feel comfortable with this, he's like, oh, good. Okay, I got a live one. Perfect. Here's another horrific example of sexual innuendo. He says, lady, listen to this. Lady. My sister-in-law was in town with her husband, and they always stay with us when they are. So I take my son to his football game, and when we get back at 9 p.m., my brother-in-law is gone. So I ask, where is he? He went to dinner somewhere. And I'm like, by himself? Leaving you here? She asks a question about it. He responds, nope. I enjoy BJs, and I don't get them by going off late at night to do what I want.
He's telling this woman he enjoys BJs. So he's using a story of
where a guy did something that he would never do, because again, he wants to make himself look like the nice guy. But then he says, the reason I don't do those things is because I want to get BJs. And not only that, he's talking about BJs with another woman. And when she sent me these screenshots, she told me she has been feeling so fucked up over this. Now listen to this, guys. This is fucking rich. But it's insanity, the disrespect men have towards their marriage. He says this while he's messaging another attractive woman. I go to bed with my wife. I eat dinner with her and the kids. She always knows where I'm at. It's not because she wears the pants. It's because I have respect for her. Does she know that you're in another woman's DMs talking about how much you like BJs? This is fucking outrageous. Like, this is one of the most appalling things I've ever seen in my life. If you guys are not convinced up to this point.
And there's more. Video 4.
Back with part 5 of these
Part
horrifying,
5.
disgusting, appalling messages between Robbie Harvey and another woman who is a victim. Let's continue. So we left off with him bragging that he came from nothing and now he made $20,000 in the month of June. Why do you think his amount of money has gone up so much in June?
And you see now, again, it's tough to believe people online, but Ashley, you said something before it went public right here in the space that you were saying that he sends screenshots to your husband boasting about the money he makes. He's boasting to this woman here. So there's a common trait. So there's a connection.
It's because he's been talking about the Kasanoff case. He's using this poor family to make money. And now he's bragging about it to another woman in private messages. He goes on to brag, I never doubted myself. I knew I could have a hot wife. I knew I could have everything I wanted. And I did it on my own.
This piece of shit.
She responds and he says, because people don't want to work. Oh, he's one of those, just like fucking Kim Kardashian. When I got out of college, I had 5 jobs, literally 5. I worked from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Wow, shut up, Robbie. He just goes on to say some degrees he's had. He says, anyways, you got me on a rant, LOL. Well, I just get fired up thinking about men. Yes, I hate that your father sucked. I had to figure out how to be a man all by myself, which is why I sucked at it for so long, but I kept trying. So even though I can't show her responses, it's very clear that she has also shared very vulnerable.
Just the way he's trying to be the nice guy and say, I hate men. It's sickening. It's hilarious as well.
Vulnerable stories about her own life, which is what narcissists want, because then they know that they got a very vulnerable person who has had a hard life. This is, a woman who's been exploited and abused. And these are the types of women that Robbie is going after. And this is why he's dangerous. He says something like, I had to be a man all by myself, which is why I sucked at it for so long, but I kept trying. And you're still sucking at it because you are private messaging another woman while you're married. Oh, and I have a hot wife. Again, with the hot wife. Like, are you fucking kidding, Robbie? Like, you've never said anything else about your wife except that she's hot. And now you're bragging about it to another gorgeous woman in secret DM. Okay, I'm done. Men suck. You were right. 98.2% of them. And you're surely in that 98.2%, Robbie. I can't. The hypocrisy of narcissists is absolutely shocking. And they're hairy. I am too. But they're ugly hairy. This is narcissist's way of flirting. And it's honestly like so hilarious to me. Now check this one out, guys, because this shows Robbie's real motive. Okay?
This is his real motive. Now, this is where it comes. This is what he was trying to do. It took him a year to get here, but this is what he was trying to do.
Where do you live? She responds. He says, I'm going to be in New York in a few weeks, and I was going to make you meet up if you were close. Hold up. Pause. Now we're on the let's meet up level. You think this is Robbie's first time doing this?
No.
Fuck no.
No. More women are going to come out.
This is what he does. This is all narcissists cheat. This is what narcissists do. This is what they do. Gain their trust, cross the boundaries, exploit them, try to get them to meet up with you. Luckily, she didn't take the bait. She didn't even answer his question about meeting up, thank God. But we're back with part 6. This is
part 6. I actually haven't seen this one, so I'm interested.
I didn't even put makeup on or do anything to put these out because I just needed. I feel such an urgency to put these out. I just wanted to go back a step because I think I forgot to
Somebody
add
on TikTok tell her what's going on.
When Robbie Harvey
and again,
was
if you want to
explaining
go,
his victim story, he says, but at some point
YouTube
he does
to see the videos. Go ahead.
Past, my father was a POS. He taught me nothing, and I was homeless because of him.
Go to Rude Advice.
Get up, fight, take what you deserve. Then he goes on to the I won't go public with this until my father dies thing. I just thought that was worthy of mentioning, like his mindset. Now, after she basically doesn't respond to him asking her to meet up, he says, yes, been there before, but blank, which is essentially like the area that she lives in, is for the mentally unstable. And that's why you're so crazy. He wants to remind her that she's just crazy and unstable enough to meet up with him. She responds a bit.
Wait, I got to play this again. I'm sorry. I'm going to play this back.
Then he goes on to the I won't go public with this until my father dies thing. I just thought that was worthy of mentioning, like his mindset. Now, after she basically doesn't respond to him asking her to meet up, he says, yes, been there before, but blank, which is essentially like the area that she lives in, is for the mentally unstable. And that's why you're so crazy. He wants to remind her that she's just crazy and unstable enough to meet up with him.
Wow.
She responds a bit. He says, oh, listen, I'm crazy. See, this Kasanoff case, they think I'm doing this for views. I'm literally doing this to break the system. No, you're not, Robbie, because you've spent all this time explaining how much fucking money you're making. Yep. $20,000 just in the month of June. Wonder how much of that went to the Kasanoff family or anybody, just anybody who you're exploiting. And reminder, these messages were all within like the past week. Okay. Now this one is from like a few days ago. It says yesterday, but it was probably from a couple days ago. Right after he got called out. So he says, I got so many people coming after me. It's discouraging. He wants her to be like the sounding board for all his bullshit. He wants her to co-sign on his bullshit. I've known a guy like this before. Literally, like he got a girlfriend and stopped speaking to me. And I have a boyfriend too, so it doesn't matter. But like we didn't talk forever. And then he randomly messaged me to tell me about some drama he was having with a mutual friend of ours because he wanted me to like side with him. And I didn't. I called him out just like she is about to. She says something like, well, do you really want to know my opinion? He says, oh, I do. I'd rather hear the truth.
Go there.
She essentially totally calls him out. He says, I know, but I just didn't understand what I was doing. You didn't understand, Robbie, why you're bragging about how much you're making and you're in another woman's DMs? Fuck. When I did the original video, I meant it as self-reflection. So someone cut the first part and just shared it. And it sounded awful. I didn't mean to victim blame, but it sounded like I did. She goes on to explain to him how he has like exploited women by putting like that survey ad MLM thing so that he could benefit from it. He says, I've turned down so much because it doesn't benefit women. So any ad I do, it has to benefit followers. He includes a screenshot of like one time that a company reached out to him and he turned them down. All the time. So if I did something wrong or could have done something better, I'm all for it. But go to my page. Look at all the videos about my wife, not just ones from years ago. Look at all of them. I'm truly sorry. We're back with part 6. This is
it's hilarious. And the ad they're talking about, I don't know if you've seen it. I'm going to play it real quick because it's hilarious. It's hilarious. And I have it on my video. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Wait. They don't want them to have friends. They don't want them to have fun. They certainly don't want them to have money. So I found a way you can make good money. All you need is your phone. And this is perfect for stay-at-home moms or someone just simply looking to make extra money. So download the Surveys to Go app.
It's an ad. So he made an ad saying, ladies, I know you're trapped in a narcissistic marriage. You have no means of escape. You have nowhere to go. He's isolated you from friends, but I found a way for you to make money. Download this app. Oh my God. That's so bad. That is so bad. Oh my God. Anyway, back to the videos. It's so bad. Okay,
just wanted to check in after
hold on. Let me go back here. So we're
all right. We have some more shit about Robbie. It just never ends. I'm going to share with you Casey's story. She sent me some screenshots.
Okay. 1 second here. Let me just go back up. Sorry, I'm sharing screens and I got like 4 screens open here, so bear with me. Hope you're enjoying this. I mean, yes, it is cringe. It is blatant, man. He knows he's got the trust of women who are just emotionally hurt, and he's manipulating them to download an app for his money. It makes me sick. It honestly makes me sick, man. Anyway, it's Jesus. Here's Casey again. Remember, I mentioned Casey earlier. We spoke last year. Anyway, she came forward, and this is a video, and she's going to talk about it real quick.
I do not believe I will die. I do not think I can. I'm going to college to major and being a medical miracle man. I will see how it all.
Okay, let me skip forward. I think there's more to this. We already covered.
Okay, so just a couple things I wanted to say. All right, we have some more shit about Robbie. It just never ends. I'm going to share with you Casey's story. She sent me some screenshots today that she wanted me to share. She had her dealings with Robbie in 2021. You will hear about that in what I'm about to read you. Essentially, she ended up realizing Robbie was not a safe person. She blocked him, but in 2022, he came across her For You page through a BetterHelp ad. It traumatized her. It made her have flashbacks of things that had happened. So she decided to reach out to BetterHelp. And of course, she never heard back. But these are those messages.
He had it coming, Amanda.
Very, very damning. Anything that's blacked out is just private, personal information that she does not want shared. And we are going to respect that. This was sent June 25th, 2022. So about a year ago.
So again, just to kind of summarize, Casey had blocked Harvey. Again, she's scared of him. And she's on TikTok and she saw an ad with Harvey in it for Better Health. And this is her email to Better Health telling him what had happened. So again, I'm going to play the video.
Hello, Alan. My name is Casey, married for 16 years, a teacher and a mother to 5 children. I learned through some research that you are the founder of BetterHelp and wanted to reach out to make you aware of the behaviors of one of your sponsors on TikTok, Robbie Harvey. Now, I blacked out the next paragraph because it's pretty personal, but essentially she was just saying she was going through a vulnerable time in her life. During this time, around spring, summer 2021, I discovered Robbie Harvey's channel on TikTok and commented on one of his videos. He highlighted my comment, praising my testimony of faithfulness. That meant a lot to me, the recognition from a man and the validation I was so desperately seeking at the time. So I followed him and he immediately followed me back. He began to message me back and forth, asking about my marriage with my husband. He then asked me if I would be willing to help him create a forum for abused women. He said he really needed my help and assistance with creating the forum and shared with me his usernames, passwords, etc. His following was growing close to 1 million around that time, and I felt honored to be asked by him that I really wanted to help women in similar situations as myself. I just wanted to highlight that I asked her if he ever offered to pay her. He did not. So this is another thing that narcissists will do. We are actually seeing that with the Colleen Ballinger. They will use vulnerable people that they can prey on for free labor. He then asked me if I had an Instagram account and if he wanted to share a picture of his wife and their new house with me. So I shared my information with him. On Instagram, he sent sexy photos of his wife he had taken, told me he and his wife talked openly about sex and that she was okay with him having women friends. He proceeded to ask me explicit questions about sex, if I thought of other men while I had sex with my husband, and if I had thought of him when I had sex with my husband. I remember him asking that question and how it made me feel. I stared at the screen for a long time, and when I replied, I changed the subject. It made me feel very uncomfortable, and then I began to question what his purpose was in asking me these questions. We've got more, so come back for part 2.
Referring to that Allen case, again, that's not my area. I don't follow criminal cases. I know nothing about that. But I did have a woman message me this past Sunday. I'll share the screenshots in a bit. She said that she was a nanny for that family. I don't know if she can prove it or not, but this is what she said.
And I'm going to pause it here. So for those who can't hear on TikTok, a woman claiming to be the nanny for the Kasanoff family in 2016, and she's still in touch with the nanny of that family, saying that Robbie is only taking a piece of the story. He's not telling the whole truth. So I'm going to read to you what she told me, okay? So it says here, Robbie H. Help. Hi, I just saw your videos on YouTube about your experience with Harvey. I'm not being attacked by him, but he is attacking Alan Kasanoff. I don't know if you've seen these videos. He lost his job because of Robbie's videos. I need to give you some context. I was a nanny for a year for the Kasanoff family in 2016, and I know them well. I am still in touch with them. Catherine, the wife, again, this is her words, not mine, okay? Catherine was a sociopath. She abused her daughters mentally, psychologically, and maybe even physically. And she says, I can't prove that last part. When she decided to take her own self, she publicly posted all these videos with some other court documents. Only the one that made her a victim of the court system, okay? Only that one. And basically blamed it mostly on Alan. I know the real story. I know how abusive she was to the girls, especially their adopted daughter. The court made the best decision by giving the full custody to their father. A few psychiatrists in this divorce said that she shouldn't be around the children unsupervised. She continues to say, the thing is that Robbie used these videos and little pieces of information that he has on this case, which are only Catherine's point of view, by the way, and painted a picture of Alan as a terrible human being. She says, it drives me crazy to see all of this because I know the truth. I don't like when things are fair. I like it when things are fair, and it's clearly not because he knows nothing about the story. I tried messaging him on TikTok, but I don't think he will ever see my message. I also comment on his videos, but I get no responses. I don't really know what to do to have a voice in this mess, but since I've seen what you experienced with him, I was hoping you could help in a way. I'm sorry for the long message. I hope it was clear enough. Thank you. Have a good day. And then I responded, because I don't know anything about it. I'm like, okay, what proof can you provide that you were the nanny? And she goes, I have pictures. I have the affidavit I gave to Alan's lawyer about Catherine's behavior that I observed. I'm also in touch with the current nanny that came into the family after me, who gave her testimony. And I ended with this.
Now, to be honest, I wasn't going to share this, but something tells me I should. Maybe someone who's out there who knows more about the case can use this. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying I believe her. She sent this to me. This is like one of hundreds of messages I received from women last week because of that whole fiasco he was going through. I wouldn't put it past him to take somebody's real tragedy, somebody's story, take a piece of it and only share that narrative for his financial gain. He did it to me because that's really the type of person he is.
Again, I'm not claiming she's telling the truth. I'm not claiming any of that. I don't know nothing about the case, but we're seeing patterns here, right? Everybody, we're seeing patterns. We're seeing patterns where he takes stories and only tells a piece of it. And that piece, coincidentally, is the piece that's going to trigger his audience and get a lot of responses. So what we have here and this content, this person who reached out to me, I told her I'll do one video. That's it. But again, I'm going to kind of distance myself from it. I don't know who the hell you are. You can be the guy. I don't know who the hell you are. She goes, I understand, but I'm going to create my own account and start sharing. So this woman, this nanny, is going to start sharing more evidence of the case. But again, I wouldn't put it past the son of a bitch to take a piece of somebody's tragedy and exploit it. He's made 20 grand off of this woman's death and this whole tragedy. He's not going to donate it to the family. I know he's not. We all know he's not, but that's what he's doing. And I just want to share this one last thing about, because again, he changed my story for his benefit. He may have changed this person's story, but I want to show you one last piece of evidence here. He has a podcast. I didn't know about this, but he has a podcast. And somebody that follows me was one of his first guests. And she goes, I have something to tell you. I'll go, wait, I'm just going to read what I'm sharing here. I go, wait, do you have a Robbie Harvey story? She goes, yes, from my experiences on his podcast. And I say, this motherfucker, because I don't know what she was going to say. She goes, how he asserted his dramatic storytelling over my story and didn't even let my words speak for me. He inserted his opinions over my reality and bashed my dad, whom I didn't say anything negative about. So he changed her story. I was SA'd as a child, and my mom called me a liar and gave me a black eye before skipping town after the trial of one of these guys. My dad busted his ass to care for me and never turned his back on me. I took that personal. I looked yesterday and he removed the episode. So again, there's more proof that he is a fucking liar. I'm looking at the camera, be more dramatic. He's a fucking liar. He takes people's stories, changes it up, and takes what can give him money. I guess in closing, everybody, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to address some comments in a bit. But I am happy that this is happening, but I'm also upset maybe that it took this long. But what goes around comes around. Karma's a bitch. And the hell he put me through, and I'm pretty sure there's other people that can speak to this, but the hell he put me through, and to be so smug about it, that smug face that they were talking about, to be so smug about it and not give a shit, knowing that he's potentially destroying somebody's livelihood and reputation after they've been working on it for years. The fact that he didn't give a shit and was just, the hell with you. And then he stitched Kaylee's video and you can see his ass smirking. I'm so glad this happened to him. And I'm glad the truth is out, because I'm pretty sure now that these two women have come forward, more are going to come forward. I know these are not the only two. He's too arrogant and too all about himself just to have two women. He was trying to work with so many of them. I know for a fact it's just a matter of time. But yeah, I guess as a word of caution out there, just be careful who you listen to and who you take advice from. Because as content creators, we all know that if you want to get viral, you want to get a lot of engagement, say something that's triggering. Say something that'll piss people off to get them to comment or share. And then, can you believe this jerk? Because there's a lot of people out there who are going to manipulate you. Just be cautious with who you follow. If who you follow and who you subscribe to gets you angry or makes you hate a certain demographic like men, then that's not healthy. Just like the fresh and fit guys, their demographic, those guys hate women. That's horrible. Okay? You don't need that. So just be cautious with who you follow. Everything you see online is a shred of reality. It's not the whole truth. Don't go destroying people's lives based off a fucking 20-second clip that's taken out of context. I hope we all learn from this. Mike, wow, this is very interesting. I followed that guy. Well, I hope you report him and unfollow him because he's a lying son of a bitch. Cody here. Have you fallen victim to a predatory man? Does your life feel like a miserable prison you can't escape? Well, put that alone time to better use by downloading Hero Wars today. Yeah, that's pretty much what he did. Oh my God. Ashley, again, thank you for sharing your story and how your husband's connected to him. She says, I sent my husband a screenshot that he made $20K in 1 week on Facebook. My husband told him money isn't everything. And he said, well, my sanity is, I think, because he no longer works at a church. So that figures. Yeah, he seems tight. Yeah, but send your husband this video. Send it to his wife. Send it to Robbie's wife. Tell her I said hi, because she deserves to know the truth, because this son of a bitch, he had it coming. Let's see what other comments we have here. Report and unfollow. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope more follow your way. Because on TikTok here, I've been glancing at the texts and the messages. There's some women who are insulting me, I think, and some still defending him. They're blind. They're blind. They don't want to see the truth. Let me just read some TikTok comments here real quick. Is he still profiting over people's trauma? I guess he is. I don't know what the latest is on his platform. What's your story? Can you please give a breakdown on how he lied? I just did that. MJ78. The videos on YouTube go to Rude Advice. I shared everything. Even the videos I've taken down, I shared every video of my story and how he changed the narrative to exploit and profit off of what happened with me. And also to ruin my brand. So I've shared everything. Go and watch the full video in its entirety. All the screenshots, all the receipts, all you guys want, it's all there. He is sick. Yes, his wife needs to know. I really liked him too, this one person says. Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of people did. Well, everybody, I know this is outside my content, but again, it's still tied to me in a way, because if that video that Robbie did of me is gone viral on all social media platforms, Instagram, including Facebook. And I know my Facebook following is relatively new, and I wanted everybody to know the truth. That's why I made this video. But again, I appreciate everybody stopping by and listening to what's going on and seeing how this piece of shit, its true colors finally surfaced. Again, have a wonderful Saturday, everybody. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe, like the video, share it, comment, let everybody know. Like Robbie would say when he would call out guys in the videos, do me a favor and tag every news outlet out there. The world must know about this horrible man. So I'm stealing that verbiage from one of his videos. Let's let the world know how horrible this man is. Tag every outlet. Share this video with every news outlet out there, local, national, everybody. Let the world know. Good night, everybody.